Hello, everyone. I am more excited and sorry for all my past guests because you're awesome too. But I am so excited for today because let me tell you something. We've got Kim Campbell on here. And, people ask me all the time, Kim, they say, Stephanie, how are you so strong all the time? Well, there's a secret to that strength, right? It's because I've made sure to surround myself with people that are like-minded, that, share the same common goals, but also have the power and strength to lift me up. Because for me, Kim, you have been that person that anytime I feel like something's not going to go right, or I'm going to fail, or I'm going to lose a deal, one of the very first thoughts that come into my head at that moment is Kim would never give up. Think of what Kim has accomplished and done in this real estate industry, but even before real estate. And that's why I wanted to have Kim on today, because let me tell you something. If you're in the real estate industry and you're in this pivoting market, and, it's a very different climate than it's been in the last 3 years, I want you to get engaged with this story, because we're going to start to the very, very beginning of Kim where you came from, because this is unbelievable, people. So tune in. You're never going to be able to forget what you hear today. So Kim, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. It's such an honor to be here. I love and respect you so much. And one of the things I want to learn to be like you, because you are like the 4 type of business people, right? They are whales, and they are sea urchins, and they are dolphins, and they are sharks, right? And the shark is like, show me the money. Without the money, I won't do this, right? And we all kind of like that. If you're in business, you kind of semi-shark or a shark, right? And whales is somebody who, if they look at a project and the project is, not helping people, not making an impact, they won't do it. And that's me and you. I know that if, it's not making an impact and changing people, it's like, I won't even touch it. And the sea urchin will be like, get into the detail. Now that one, I usually grab my husband, like, hey, can you check this out for me? That was the name of the past. Now the new me is I'm embracing the sea urchin, getting very detailed, starting like, this week, especially. And then dolphin said, if the project is not fun, Stephanie, I wouldn't do it. So I'm more like a dolphin than a shark, And then the urchin, that's what you are. You have all 4, which I love you so much. So anybody that needed mentoring, coaching, you are the person to go to for all of those 4 type of business, because you are so balanced. So I have so much love and respect for you.
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Well, and obviously everybody's going to see we have a definite mutual respect for one another. And, and this is why today is going to be such an eye-opening call, because it's going to come from inspiration, but also just all of what you have overcome. Like, I always think, if Kim overcame what you're getting ready to tell us, I can do anything. Think about what you've come. So let's go all the way back to Vietnam as a kid.
Yes.
Start there.
Man, so where do we start? I was, see, how far do you like me to start, Stephanie? Because
when your parents said, you've got to go to America, that's where I want you to start.
Yes. Walked into a house, saw my mom and dad, and my sister were crying. I'm like, what are they crying? And basically my sister was looking to see if my mom and dad would escape with them to, to get on this boat, that her husband just dumped her. Okay. That is hey, there's one more slot and you need to go and grab somebody, but I'm not coming with you. And my sister went there, make my mom and dad to come with her. And then I walked right in to the house, sawing them. And they said, hey, and mom and dad looked at me and said, if anybody, she will be it. I looked up, had this pair of clothes on, and 30 minutes later, I was whipped out and get on the boat that was made for 400. It was made for 12 people and crowded with about 200 of us on that boat to embark on a journey on an escape. We had no idea where we're going to be end up with no direction. Just get on the boat and just go.
How old were you when your parents put you on that boat and said goodbye?
13 years old.
13 years old by yourself. There was 200 other people, but you didn't know those 200 people.
Yeah, me. So my sister literally took my arm and just dragged me on the boat, and she was like 24 years old, and I'm like 13, and we both just got on there with whatever we had on that night, and
Mm.
that's how I got on there.
How long were you on that boat?
It was 3 days, 2 nights, and the longest 3 days, 2 nights ever, especially if you know I was only fearful of the ocean. I got scared to death that I would never, I mean, my sister died when she was 4 years old because of drowning. So the rest of the family after her, nobody knew how to swim because my mom ensured that no one knew how to swim and no one will get near the water. So of course, if I see a body of water, I automatically thinking is water filled with sharks and actually not shark, alligators and big animals that you don't want to be in there. So I see this puddle of water, I'd be like, are they shark? I mean, like alligator in there. My mom like chances are, so I wouldn't even get near a puddle of water to save my life. And here I am, 13 years old. I'm like on a river. I mean, because I didn't know where else we're gonna go. I just saw the river in front of me. I'm like, I'm gonna get on this boat with this river. I mean, that'd be alligators down there.
Yeah.
It was fearful.
So, all right. So you were on there three days. And then where did you end up?
And we on the way to on the boat, we as we escaping the river, we got chased by pirates. And Stephanie, like I told you, pirates, our pirates didn't look anything like Johnny Depp. That looked scary. Okay, they look ugly and scary. And then 3 days, 2 nights, we got rescued by the oil rigs, the English oil rigs, and then they dropped us up in a refugee camp. Where I stayed there for 3 years.
3 years in a refugee camp.
Yeah. And whatever I had on, I still had the same clothes on, many
For
days
3
later.
years.
And when we got on the refugee camp, the experience on refugee camp was anything. It's not figuratively speaking when I say I was hungry. We didn't have food or clothes at all. And when people are like, I'm hungry, in America, I would say, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm like, they're just figuratively speaking because they have plenty of food, right? Elsewhere,
Right.
leftover, whatever. We had none, so, and so I'm saying that to say I was drooling over an apple and a 7-Up. So that story always stuck with me. And people are like, oh, figuratively speaking, that's very sweet, Kim. I'm like, no. I
No,
was
you wanted that.
13. I was hungry. I had no food. I saw this little girl whose parents brought money. And they afforded her apple and 7-Up. And we had none. My sister and I were none. And I was drooling over it. And I cried. And I mean, we were thirsty. I was thirsty, reaching into this jar of water and drinking it. And out of that water, Stephanie, there was like dead rats were in there.
Mm.
So that humble anyone. And for me, I'm like, I just want some water that just helped me feel the thirst. So I
Wow.
drink water with that rest in there to open up and up. So that was my very point that I look up and then say, dear God, if you pull me out of that recession, no recession, I can always find food. I can always go to my backyard and put a little farm, dig a little pond, put some fish in there and get some food. So, that kind of built my character a lot.
That's right. That's right. So 3 years in the refugee camp. How did you get out of that refugee camp and where did you end up?
So my thankfully I had some sibling in the US, but none of them could have done anything because they, sister sibling, they couldn't sponsor over. But because my dad was a driver for one of the US officers, so that track record that we could find that he was a driver, for this officer. Oh my God, hello! I was able to be sponsored to the US and. When I came to the US, I landed in Houston, Texas. And when I landed to Houston, Texas with my sister, all of my family members have family already, and you know how it is in America. Every family has their own family. And no disrespect to my family, it's just the way they were. Of course, they took me in, but reluctantly because they're like, man, what am I going to do with them? I have, my brother has 4 kids that he's supporting, and the other brother was a pastor, and a wife is pregnant, and the other one's in college, and the other one's in high school. So nobody has anything, and so I'm being passed around, and is
You spoke no English.
and I spoke no English. Oh, this is a funny story, okay, Stephanie. So that was summer. It was April 1987, and my brother, who is a genius, he graduated like 4 degrees in 3 years. So he took me to this high school, and then sent me to go to classes, and as a ninth grade, and I'm like, I didn't go to 6, 7, and 8. Should I start like 6, 7, and 8? He's like, you 15 now. You can't go back there. I'm like, okay. So make a long story short on that. This teacher saw my brother brought this Asian chick come in, right? And this little Asian, bang hair and just scary and glasses. And she must be smart. And they start speaking to me, and I look at them like smiling. And that's all I ever did was smiling, because I didn't know what else to do.
You didn't know what they were saying either.
I didn't know what he's saying. So 1 week later, they figured I was not anywhere near my brother. I couldn't even speak the language. And they're like, that's your sister. What is going on?
Yeah.
She must be like adopted sister or something, because they're like, he's so smart and she is so dumb.
Which you weren't dumb. You just spoke no English. You had absolutely no idea what they were saying. And
no idea. The word tardy, I remember the word tardy for the first time, because, I went from PE class to English class, PE class, fifth period. And then PE and English was last. I don't know why they put it that way, but I got wet and changed, and only 2 minutes late to the class, and I didn't know what tardy means. And man, I got grounded so bad. And I was like, disobey me. And then apparently my brother came in trying to translate, like, you didn't listen to them. I'm like, what did they say? They said, you were tardy. I'm like, what in the world is tardy? You're like, tell me late. I just learned the word late. Use late, don't use tardy. I wouldn't know. So I struggled to school. Oh my God. Algebra, girl. I learned I learned addition, in 5th grade, 6th grade or 7th. I don't know what they teach, but I didn't see algebra before, right? And so this is like algebra, and I look it up. It didn't mean anything in my language, and I didn't even know what it means. But when they asked me, what is -6 + 5? And I look it up, I'm like, -6 + 5. I'm like, I don't know. I never seen that before. Why do you add negative to I've never seen anything like that, right? And my brother brought home, and because he heard a teacher, like, she didn't even know what -6 + 5 is. You got to go home and teach her. And my brother tried to teach me, and he slapped the shit out of he slapped me. He go, you so dumb, this right here and this right there. I'm like, what is that? What is he? Why? I always know you add, you don't subtract. I never learned how to subtract. I know how to subtract. When you have something and you subtract less than the what you have. I never seen the other way around.
Right. So, oh my goodness. I can't even imagine. And you're 15 years old. You have no idea what people are communicating. So let's fast forward. Obviously, you're starting to pick up English. You graduate, right? You graduate on time. They probably were like, come on, go on and go, right?
Well, the good news is I translated day and night, Stephanie, and studied like as if my life was depending on which it was, because if I couldn't get this, I couldn't get anywhere. So the first year, man, I remember I was like, this is it. I have to do this, or else I will pretty much like nobody. And and then my brother's like, the way you're going, you're gonna be a trash can collector. And I'm like, what do they do? I mean, do you have to have a degree for that? He's like, no, that's what you're gonna go for if you don't graduate high school. I'm like, high school? I'm like, I barely finished the first two, they spoke to me in Vietnamese, and I'm like, okay, fine. So of course I ruined and studied so hard, and 4 years later I graduated with National Honor Society.
Awesome.
So, thank you, God.
Doing the work. See, this is what I love. This is what I love so much about you, Kim, is I don't think I would have had the strength to translate all of my work, because you're doing double the work just to get it done. I mean, just to learn and to be able to do it. But see, that's what I'm saying. You just did it because you knew you had to, right? And we meet agents all the time, right? That they're just like, oh, my business is slowed down. And I'm like, let's just do some of the work. Let's just plug into, right? Because that's how we're built. You know, you built stronger than me, that's for sure. But to be able to do all that and to graduate because you knew you wanted to be somebody and you just put in the work.
I knew I didn't have any dream or goal. I just didn't want to be a trash collector because I hate smell. That was it. Nothing more than the smell.
Motivated by rat and trash smell.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I have a thing for smell, which means I like to smell good. I don't like anything that don't smell good. And when my brother said trash collector, I'm like, that gonna be stinky. Okay, I cannot do that. So I mean, I have no goal, no dream, but I definitely didn't want to be a trash can collector. So thanks,
I love it. I love it. All right. So you graduate high school. Then what happens?
Of course, college, time. And because, to make a long story short, I did not have self-confidence at all. I mean, I was wounded when I was young. So I was told that I was not going to be anybody. So I need to go and get me a degree, that, and that I should study, something useful. And long story short, my brother had the genius idea that I should be a teacher. I'm like, okay, teaching is when you're required to speak, and I barely speak English. I don't know how to do that. And he's like, well, why don't you go and teach math? Math's going to be easy, so of course, and I hate math, right? So, and so I went to first year in college, major in computer science and math. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like math and computer. I'm not even like the technology, right? So math and computer science, man, first semester into it, I'm like, okay, I feel like ninth grade all over again, right? So I survived C++. People knew I took C++ and trying to program. Trying to understand English and trying to program is like the brain I never had, right? So first year, so I went to my counselor. I said, is there anything that is like easier than mathematics and computer science? He was like, let me look at you. How about accounting and information system management? I'm like, sign me up.
Accounting.
Man, I cannot. I don't even look at income statement, and I just look at a bank. That's all I've ever done. I'm like a shark over there, right? So of course I signed up, and 6 years later, I graduated with cum laude in accounting and information system management, and then I got offered different job offer, and I have to tell you one funny story because I don't want to make it so boring, right? I was not very, I'm one of those that not very bright, but always in the right place at the right time, right? So because I was speaking some English and a lot of Vietnamese, so they actually, FBI recruited me. And of course, I didn't know what all they do because my accountant professor was like, oh, you should apply for them. You should be perfect. You're going to solve white collar crime. I'm like, what are they? I'm like, I didn't know what it was. So long story short on there. And then FBI and then Secret Service offered me, job. So I went interview FBI, and FBI asked me to carry a gun. I'm like, no, I don't want to carry a gun. So pass on that job. And then Secret Service, and they said, this guy was like unsuited on. I was intimidated like crazy. I'm like, yes, sir. And they go, are you willing to die for the president? I'm like, oh no, sir. I'm like, not paying at all. And they go like, why are you applying? What do you think we do? I'm like, I don't know. My professor told me to apply, so I'm here. So, and they like, this one is not for you, young lady. I'm like, thank you, sir. And I didn't know you have to die for the damn president. I didn't want to die for me, let alone the president, right? I don't want to die for nobody. So anyway, so I walked down there, all like, what an idiot, right? And I'm like, man, I was just going through the motion. Whatever my professor told me to, I did that. I'm that's one thing about me, Stephanie, is that I'm a student, right? Yeah. And I'm also an action. I'm a student, but I'm a master executing. So my professor like, apply, I apply, go interview. I got the job, and they asked me gun. I'm like, gun, I don't kill anybody. And then so I always study, and then I take action, right or wrong, they not. And then of course I ended up as an underwriter for Cigna Healthcare.
There you go.
It was my very first.
And you were at Cigna Healthcare, and I'm sure it was so boring for you because there is no way I can imagine sitting in a cubicle doing anything of the sorts because you love people. You're always the greatest socialite, right? I mean, you're the leader of the pack in so many ways. So you get bored there. So now let's get to, how did you discover real estate? How did that happen?
I have a friend, and he was studying Edwin Winston. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get my real estate license and this stuff." And I'm like, "Wow, what's that?" And I checked it. I'm like, "Oh, people." So I asked my bosses, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, they make a lot of money." I'm like, oh, "A lot of money in them." I'm like, "Wow, that must I was scared of it." But I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You should go and take real estate license with me." Oh man, no. Sell people and my family no sell people. They and then I went home and told my brother, "Hey, what do you think about me getting a real estate license?" He's like, "Oh no, those people are cutthroat. They lie, they cheat, they steal people, they don't tell the truth. They are like," and I'm like, "Oh my God." So I okay. I told my friend, let me tell you what, I go to class with you, just with you, hang out and learn more about it and see what it is. Because it's winter anyway. So me and you just go, and platonic friend, we went and took the real estate class, and there were 30 of us in the whole class, right? And everybody was, very sharp, and I looked like, nobody. I was still nobody then. And then my friend was a goof, so but we both are like goof. That 30 of us, 20 of us got hired real fast up to they got a license. The only two idiots didn't get hired with me and him.
Oh no! Nobody wanted you.
I'm like, nobody wanted us. I'm like, I'm gonna stick with underwriting. I mean, nobody wanted me at all, until April 1998. That was when I was forced to. I got fired from that job, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do right now? I only have like $1,000 left, and what do I do? So I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know, this license thing gonna do anything, but I'm gonna give it a shot, So
Yeah.
I went and got licensed, and I mean, like literally pay for the board, buy a computer, put gas in my tank. I had $6 left in my pocket to start my real estate career.
Oh
Hello.
my goodness! And what year was this?
This was 1998.
1998. You had
April 1998.
I love this. I mean, think of all that you did before April of 1998. I mean, you can't, it's unbelievable, which is why you're an author, by the way, and the book's out there. But this is just tremendous. So you start real estate as a complete fallback career. That was it. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a passion. It wasn't a desire. You did it because your friend said, "Hey, do this with me." And you being a great friend, you're like, sure, you're always there to support. And now you're going into real estate with $6 to your name. What brokerage did you join?
I was such another idiot mom. I'm always like, I tell people that some agents out there, they are Stephanie Gilezan type with me. They debate, they talk, they are like good at everything. I'm the other side that not good at anything. Just so be very clear, okay? I'm never going to tell the truth. I know everything. I didn't know anything. I mean, there's more stuff that you want that you may not want to know. But man, $6, Stephanie. That night, that weekend, my best friend was having her birthday, and she invited me to her birthday. I mean, like I have a gift that I bought for myself. I have to wrap it up for her, and that's $6, $4 to get into that place. $2, I didn't drink anyway, so I ordered water, and then I tipped them $2 for the whole night.
Oh my goodness!
Nothing. That was a Saturday night. So Sunday morning, I'm like, dear God, me and you're gonna go and do some real estate. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go and start talking. I guess I should be talking, So I went to church. I'm like, hey, I got my license. I think you need a house. Don't you live in an apartment right now? I mean, I talk to my church member like that. Don't you need to live in an apartment right now? Oh, yeah. I'm like, and they say, well, how do you do? I'm like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just talking. And then when they say, okay, you want me to show some houses? I'm like, oh my God, show some houses. I'm like, directional challenge. I'm going to show you houses. And how am I going to find you the houses? I hate technology, right? So I'm like, how am I going to find a house to go and show you the house that I don't even know direction on? But I always a student, right? I'm like, I'm going to go and learn. I'm going to go and learn and be the student learning and be the master in execution. So I didn't know any of that. So I went in there and called my friend. I'm like, hey, this woman want to buy over here. What do I do? He's like, oh, there's like, and then he taught me real fast. He's like, they're like 13 area. He won area number 3. That's in Nashville, Tennessee, right? West Nashville. 3. All you need to do, focus right there. That's all I did. Focus on right there. Oh, Father House showed him how, about when, did I tell you about how I showed my first?
Oh my God, tell it. It's awesome. It's awesome. Tell it.
All this home that she won, it was $129,000, right? And I found, so many homes. So I narrowed out to the best of the best of the best. So I found her 10 home to look at. And now I'm like, the moment of truth. Now I found the house that how am I gonna know where to show these people? So I look at direction. Back then, this is 1998, right? They have map and all, and I'm directional challenge. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So make a long story short, I map it out. And guess what I did, Stephanie? I literally that night and the next 2 days, because I told him, like, okay, yeah, we're going to see home on Saturday, 10 o'clock to 2. I sound very professional, but man, inside, I had no idea what I was going to do from 10 to 2 to save my life. But I'm like, we need to know where these houses are, Kim. I'm like, okay, so 10. So I'm mapping them out. And then I reach and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I praying that if I have the stapler, that it won't fall apart, because then I would know where they are, right? So
Right.
I literally mapped out, and that night and the next 2 days, I drove everywhere to the neighborhood, gain farm confidence, and then so on Saturday, come pick them up. Hey, this is the first house we're gonna look at. I have a package for me, a package for them. So very professional, dressed up like I know what I was doing, but I'm like, we're gonna go see 10 home today, and these are the 10 home that's in the best of the best, and what there was like other home, but they're not that good at all. So I show them everywhere I draw. I'm like, hey, this is this avenue. I just learned like 2 days ago. This avenue is this is the church, Presbyterian church that you say you want to go to, and our church is over here, but the church over here. I'm sounding like a freaking professional. What I learned like 2 days ago, and after that, I'm like, now out of these 10 homes that we just saw, you seem like you like these two a lot, right? Would you like to see them again tomorrow? Make an appointment, like, and then again, and then after that. After tomorrow, we're gonna sit down to go to my office. We're gonna write up an offer to this to the seller of this home. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, they're so excited. I'm so excited. I'm like, okay. So they say, oh, I like these two home. And then I call my friend. I'm like, hey, they ran ready to write something. Here is like 20 pages contract. What do I need to know in here? And he go, you need name. So I'm like, I need to know 10 things. Give me 10. What are the things beside the signature they need? What do they need? He named me like, their name, their address, I mean, all these 10 things I wrote out. And I highlight them on their package for them. Highlight a package for me so I know where the hell to fill in, right? Because I had no idea what's in the done contract. I didn't read it at all. Because I told my broker, I'm like, did you read this? He said, it's all good it's protecting the buyer, right? I was terrible. So he's like, yes, if you could fill it out, make an offer. It's all accepted. I was so happy. And then they came back. They qualified for $68,000.
Oh no.
And I'm like, my gas is like half a tank right now. And I'm like, God, I may need to go and borrow $20 somewhere. To put more gas in there. Forget about I could eat ramen food, no big deal. But gas I do need, and
Yeah.
some food if just in case they want to eat something. So I call my sister up and borrow like a little bit. It was embarrassing. Like, hey, can I borrow like $100? My sister like, I give you $100. I'm like, okay, that's all I need for right now to last me another. Hopefully they buy soon. So long story short on that. I saw this $68,000 home coming on the market, and then all of a sudden it disappeared. I didn't know back then it was expired, okay? But I'm like, I just saw it on sale yesterday, and I was like devastated that it's just gone off the market. It's not active anymore, and I didn't know where it went. Back then I didn't know it went to the expired listing, right? And I was so distraught, and I went back to the home, showing them 20 times, and every time back that you've shown a property, you have to leave a business card, right, Stephanie?
Yeah.
And then, so back then, every time I came, I'm very obedient, very submissive. I leave a car. I left a car everywhere. So that one Sunday, when I came back, I saw this lady right in front of me. I'm like, oh my God, it must be the listing agent. I was so excited. I'm like, hey, how are you? And she's like, she looked at her car. She's like, you must be Kim, huh? And she's like, yes, ma'am. Hold my chest up. I remember. Yes, ma'am, I'm Kim, huh? My client's right here. She's like, you shown my house a lot. This is your house? Oh, they love your house. I been meaning to reach out and put an offer in. It's like, they like the house. You got a buyer? Would you like to list it? I'm like, yes, ma'am. How is 5 o'clock this evening would do, because I did not fill out a listing agreement, okay? So I'm like, 5 o'clock so that I can go back to the office and try to talk to somebody, call my friend, call my broker, call somebody. That's the key. When I'm stuck, I look for somebody for help. I don't just go and die, okay? I'm
Right.
like, this woman want to list this house. What do we need? This exclusive listing agreement. I'm like, can you highlight all the things? And then I make a copy. I'm really good with that. And then come 5 o'clock, come right here, and we close that house in 3 weeks. 6% up $68,000 for the first commission check, much more than I ever done in my whole entire month of my
Right.
that I got hooked, girl.
You were hooked, you were sold, and now you're on your way to being the real estate superstar.
Of course, and I repeat the same formula, just learned, and I become rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year, at ERA. And so, yeah.
I love it. I love it. You know, and again, I said this a bit ago, and I'm going to say it again, because just like when you were put into high school as a 9th grader, when you hadn't even gone to 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you know, you did the work. And then you graduate, you go to college. Who would have ever even thought when you went to the 9th grade that you'd even want to extend your schooling that much longer? But you did. You got a degree. You're being offered because you put in the work. And then you get into real estate. You don't know anything, but you put in the work. Like, it's just work, people. It's really not that difficult. It's just dedicating the time. And then to think about, you know, you had no dreams of becoming, neither did I. You know, I kind of fell into real estate myself in 1999. So a year after you. But, you know, we fall into something and we become masterfuls at it. And you have mastered real estate, Kim, because, okay, so you were at ERA,
Yep.
superstar, rock star. You meet your husband, Rob, and tell us how you all became the largest, highest volume of sales, 15 RE/MAX offices, #1 in the world with RE/MAX. Because think about that, people. Listen to the stories you just heard, and now we're going to hear about #1 producing RE/MAX empire right here with Kim Hall.
You know, I go back to this because you say that, you know, someone like me would achieve like that, and this is not hard. I'm telling you, if real estate is hard, I would never get anywhere. I'm telling you, if it's hard as it was, it's not that I say it's easy. Well, it is the easiest thing I have ever seen. You know, you trust that the contract is already written by a lawyer, and you just need to fill out 10. I can do that. I can do that. What do we need to fill out to protect our people? And my broker say, you make sure you do this, whatever I do, because my heart, like we talked about the 4 type of business earlier, right? I'm a Wells because I really care for people like that, so yeah. The way to succeed in anything at all is to care about the project, not just do anything, not go anywhere just because there's $1 more, Right. I am very driven by the fact that I care for the people. So with RE/MAX, the same formula come to RE/MAX, when Rob and I got together, and we were like, I say, Rob, he has like, 100 or 2 people. I'm like, hey, why can't we double that? I'm always asked, like, why can't we double that? And he's like, well, we already, and I'm like, here. So I literally put all of my, hard earned, like, because by then I'm a mega agent already. I was making about $500,000, and so, in my commission. And so I went to Rob. I'm like, Rob, I heard that you help your agent making $1 million before. I want to be the first one to make the $1 million, I went there, and all this driven a vision, get there. And so I put all of my money back into RE/MAX, and then I opened my mortgage company. I opened my mortgage company there. And the way we got to RE/MAX, the #1 was all because we want to be different. We want to say, okay, what is it, RE/MAX? Because RE/MAX franchise model sucks, man. They don't do anything for their freaking broker owners, let alone the agent. They did put the balloon. They make sure the balloon looks the best, that they are the best. They rise above the
crowd. Who cares about a balloon? Yeah, exactly.
Everybody gets a balloon. And,
the balloon didn't make you $1.
The balloon didn't make us $1 because we care so much that Rob and I went to, back then regional was in Atlanta. And we came down here and said, hey, can you do this for the agent? Can you do this for, because, Jay Nelson, I remember he came and wanted to open an office, and RE/MAX like, hey, this is X number of dollars. You got to do this and that. And Rob and I are like, no, we got to think of a better way. So, and Rob is pretty good with strategy and all this stuff. And Rob, Rob, if you need a strategy, book a time with Stephanie if he can do strategy for you. He's like, well, with this, so he went to Remax and he go about the rules and open Jane and his team an office. That's now we call a net branch, but back then they didn't even have that. They would not have any of that all because Rob and I are very creative in a way where we want to, how can we serve the agent? How can we help them do more and have more and keep more? And
Right.
so all Remax International, I mean, Rob put the whole accounting together where everybody literally, Remax owner broker all over the US came over to us to learn our system. And we was like, well, number one, you care. Here's how we do it, and we open our book out and show all the broker owners. And then, and when they're not doing so well, they start, okay, would you like buy us out? And we did, so accumulate over the year to become like 400 agents. And I would goal it for 1,000 agents, Stephanie, because, I'm like, if I couldn't speak English and I can speak some, so, I mean, didn't go to middle school and graduate with, National Honor Society. So the same mindset. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna go and kill it. Can we do 1,000?
Yeah, I love it.
Which is the attitude, and then the how. I'll figure out how to do it. In the meanwhile, that's why I'm always have the formula that I learned lately that I use. I mean, the formula is there. Like you always have the intention plus mechanics equal result. I'm like, man, I live that model. So it's very easy when somebody try to teach that program. I'm like, my intention was, to do well. I didn't know how else not to do well. And I'm just going to go and figure out what do I need to get done, to get to the result that I want. That's all. I just want, like from the contract to Remax too. I'm like, okay, we have to see how can we serve our agent in order to go to 1,000. Because in order to go to 1,000, we have to have game plan for all of them to help them achieve their goals. So that way, all the agent, I mean, at that time, Keller Williams was in the market, and none of our agent would have didn't leave at all because of who Rob and I are, because we care so deeply. Rob, 10 o'clock at night, they call Rob, call me, whatever. We both answer the phone because we are in that business. We are the business partners. We don't ever look at our agents as anything other than we're here to serve you. You need help, we're here.
Which is so obvious when you were finally presented with the opportunity at eXp Realty.
Oh man.
It was like in 2 seconds flat, it was exactly what you all had built with, but so much more. So it was easy for you to say, see you Remax, here's EXP, because EXP is all about lifting up the agents. It's all about us. We're all owners of this company. It was like to share that with us. What was that like?
Man, the moment I heard that, hey, that, all the things that you've been doing, you've been helping a lot of agents, you want to make an impact, you want to help them build a legacy, and we all happen here, and you get compensated for it. I'm like, whoa, come again? You mean to tell me that I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing, we were doing with Remax, and we can do it over here? And when they show me how much I can make, I'm like, if this is true, I say, I don't know. If this is true, I'm going to do it. The guy look at me, he's like, this is true. And Robert's like, I need some time to go. And he's the urgent, right? He got to go. I'm already a shock and a well. And I'm like, because I'm like, this is, everybody need to hear this now, not yesterday. So I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, okay, through my thumb. I'm like, okay, Rob, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to go. And by the time Rob come back, it's like he jump on and like, okay, now let's go. And I mean, as soon as Rob get on, I'll be on the phone and literally just, again, started from scratch, right?
Started from scratch.
Say, because you have 400 agents and people follow you. None, I mean, one or two of them, come on. They just like, oh, it's Kim and Rob. And they think it's me and Rob. They think, oh, it's Kim and Rob. And they have that magic touch. You heard my story. What kind of magic touch did I have? I'm directional challenge to start with. And don't read contract and don't read detail. I'm just now doodle, okay? Starting in October 2023. I'm start reading everything. I promise you. I become a Stephanie. I become a sea urchin, okay? Well, I'm just now starting. I mean, like freaking 20 some years later. I'm just now reading it. So it's never too late for some of you to start embracing all those type of business people, again, the whales, the sea urchin, the dolphins and the
Right.
sharks. Be all of them. I mean,
Well,
be a Stephanie. That's what I'm like, man. Stephanie inspired me so much. I'm like, now my
you
next
inspire me. I'm nothing. I mean, it's like, my God, I had the shortcut to get there, right? I think majority of us hear your story, Kim, and we feel like, well, heck, we had the shortcut to get to where we are, because we didn't have those struggles that you had. And I mean, I can't even imagine being a child in a refugee camp, but I love and appreciate, how, and I think it's one of those things that you're not that person, right? You don't even bring it up. It took me how many years, almost 6 years of knowing you before I ever knew that story, because you're not one that's going to sit there and scream it from the rooftops. I was a refugee and I'm here. You don't even bring it up. It's not even in your it's in your makeup, but you don't even bring it up. And that's what I appreciate about you, because it's amazing that you don't ever have an excuse. You know what I'm saying? I love that you never have an excuse. You just do the work, right?
So I
You
go
just do
learn
the
and
work.
figure it out. Just figure
Yeah,
it
just
out.
figure it out and surround yourself with like-kind people that can help elevate you. One of the things that we've been working on, a large group of us, is Grow Global, and
Oh
you will
my
see it on the screen. And what Grow Global is I mean, it is thousands of us agents
yes.
that have all been mega producers, still are mega producers, top producers, some that are new to the industry. We're from all different brokerages. And every single Monday, we're doing a mastermind, different topic each and every week, because it is our nature to help others in our industry. We love, we were both born with servants' hearts, right?
Yes.
I love it. That's why I was a principal broker so long, with hundreds and hundreds of agents on my license, because I love to pour into people, and so does Kim. And that's what Grow Global is for all of us to learn. And I like the fact that we're learning from so many different markets. What's happening in Louisville, Kentucky is very different than what's happening in Los Angeles or Atlanta or whatever part of Florida. And so we're bringing together the best of the best, so that we all feel like we've got that shorter path to success, right? Because if somebody's doing something creative in a market and it's working, they share it with everybody else so that we can immediately implement. That's what Grow Global is all about. But it's also the opportunity to find, like Kim Ha is for me, every time I doubt anything, I'm like, oh, freaking A, Kim Ha did it. I can do it. Come on, we're doing this. She came all the way from a refugee camp to a freaking multi-billion-dollar Remax franchise mega owner. I mean, think about that, you all. She did that. We can do anything that comes around. And that's why I wanted you here today, because it is so impressive. You are so, just authentic, right? But I love that you're Coach Kim and Rob is Coach Rob, because you pour into each and every one of us every single day of the week, because you just honestly genuinely want people to win.
I do. This is the most joyful than any more money in my bank ever, because you're building a legacy that people look back and you know how you hit a certain ranking or whatever, and whatever you do, and you know who helped you get there. And sometimes you get there and you're like, who helped me? And you look around like, man, this and that people, but that, you see what I'm saying? And I'm like, so I have my goal and vision. We have this group in that together, in the Alpha group in the XP that Rob and I belong to. And my vision and dream, in April, I said, I want Stephanie in there. Well, Stephanie almost there. And then, and then I want John there, and I have all these names on the list. I'm like, who want to get there with me? Let's go to the work, guy. Here's the intention, right? The mechanic is there. Well, mechanic's already there. So let's go and get the results. So intention is, by the end of this year, we will have more people, because what an Alpha group do is that we actually are coming and make an impact. and help not only just for us, but for the other people. I mean, I just got a text from Alex. It's like, Kim, this and that. And I'm like, you and Stephanie and John and all of you guys doing this. And, I'm part of it. Now I see what you guys talking about. I got multiple texts from all of them people, right? Not to glorify us, but they look together as a world global
business unit. It's a business partnership
that I've been dying to have. It's not like a Kim and Rob. Now I'm like, oh my God, Stephanie, I learned so much from Stephanie. I learned so much from Alex. And learned so much from this past week. Alex, we're teaching people how to literally farm, and Aretha and all these. And then Monday,
going back to some of the old school tricks that we did back in the 1900s, right? When we got into real estate.
Because everything, if it's hard, it really nothing is hard. It's that simple. It's like, do you have the mindset to go to work or not? Right. I ask myself that every day. I'm very clear when I say, dear God, because everything I do is in the glorify of God. I am nobody. I'm like, God, tell me to wake up. I'm like, okay, God, I'll wake up. You know what I mean? Like, the only person that governs me is God.
Yeah.
That from then on, I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? When I have a technology question, who do you think I ask? I'm like I asked God, and then also he sent me the people. I'm like, call so and so. I ask God first about direction. About I lost my glasses. I'm like, people, oh my God, so trivial. No, I put God up front. I ask God, where my glasses? And then Coco, somebody bring them up for me. Why? Because if we don't acknowledge God is in the front of everything and all around us, then who's actually governing us? Who's our surrounding? And I am so proud to surround myself with many like you, loving God so much. And I tell people that's who I do the work for. It's not for me now anymore. It's for God and the glory of God. And because of God, I'm able to learn. Because believe me, I'm not anything special at all. I'm just that person had no dream, no goal, nothing. Just put in there and just go and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Well, you went and did it. That's for sure. You're still doing it. So it's amazing. It's amazing. But literally, every single agent that's out there that's watching this, I mean, hopefully, I obviously they're getting inspired. I mean, I'm re-inspired by just, listening to your story again, but also too, reach out to us. This is what we love to do. We love to have these conversations. It's not about attracting you to EXP. It's truly about networking with other like-minded agents, with people that have proven results and that can share with you how you elevate in this business. And every single Monday at noon Eastern time, every week, it is badass training on realtormastermind.live. That's the link you go to. Show up and learn. This coming Monday, we're going to have Thano out of Indianapolis. He's been in the business a little under 24 months. He is a rock star agent doing free lead generation and making bukus of commission dollars, even in this market, even in this existing economy. He's going to open up his playbook. He's going to show us everything. And regardless of what brokerage you're with, we want you to win too. And we want you to come and experience it. Right, Kim?
Oh man, this is why we all together collectively created Grow Global, is that to have people like Thano to come in there and be that facilitator that will be back, what facilitates nobody but the person actually giving back to the real estate industry, because there's so many brokerages out there that have no training, and we're like, hey, don't worry about it, just come and
we'll put it all together for you.
Put them all together for you. You just go here, learn, and then leave, and just come and just come and go and meet, and then have a chance to be mentored by a Stephanie Gilezan. If they look you up, man, I'm telling you, I'm inspired all over again, looking at the track of record that you've been doing for the past. I mean, thanks to you, that the commercial, EXP commercial even come alive. Thanks to you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
That the whole Kentucky is like literally, and global is EXP. Thanks to you, you have done so much in that short little time. You inspire me. I'm like, well, Kim, you gotta step up a little bit now. Do you forget where you came from? I'm like, you know what? Sometimes we get into a point, Stephanie, and I forget where I came from. And that's the moment when I remind myself, Kim, you forgot how you get there, didn't you? You forgot where you came from, because the moment I learned that I forgot where I came from, that's when I went back all the way back to whatever, right? So
Yeah.
I remind myself every day, put God first, and remember, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's just work that we just have to get up and do it. And
I
that's
love you. I love you, Kim. I'm glad you're my business partner. And I cannot wait for all the amazing things that we still have left to do. And we're going to be able to do it together. So
we are only getting started, right?
just getting started. So, and we have fun too. So it's amazing. Thank you so much for being on here today. Thanks so much for opening up and sharing every bit of what you did. All right. Thank you, everyone.